The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball. Great shot at this tremendous ballpark here. Riverfront Stadium as Clay Carroll comes on. 7-5. Hard thrower. This guy rears back and pumps, Marty.
Sure does, Joe. He's got the basic pitches, fastball, slider, curveball, and set a new record this season for the most appearances ever by a Cincinnati Reds pitcher.
Lynn jumps on the first pitch. Is an easy out.
He broke Nuxie's record, didn't he? Joe Nuxhall?
Sure did.
Broadcast with you during the regular season. Still pitches batting practice almost every day.
This is Carroll's third game this series, his 12th in World Series appearances. Enrico Petrocelli, 18.8 home runs. Pretty good.
Foul ball out of play.
Enrico was going for one. He tried to put a little charge into that one. Clay Carroll, strike two. There is Evans. What a clutch hitter he's been. One ball, two strikes. Carroll against Petrocelli. 2 hits in each of his first 3 games. He's got 1 hit tonight. Petrocelli out on strikes. Cut the outside corner.
Although it didn't show in yesterday's ball game, the Reds just keep throwing quality pitchers at you out of the pen, and that's been a big plus for them all year long.
Here's Dwight Evans, who hit into a force play, and then triple in the 4th inning, a big triple. Drove in 2 runs. 4 for 12 in the series. He really drilled it off Carroll into right field. Carroll, although hit, goes over to first base. Hit right back at him. Bench calls time. He's going to check with the Hawk. The Hawk is stalking back to the mound. He doesn't even want to rub. He knows if Sparky will take him out. I'm all right.
He got jolted pretty good. Couldn't see exactly where it hit him.
He's not going to tell anybody yet.
He wants to give me the ball. I want to pitch, that's all. Evans tried to say something to him as he was over at first base to say, how are you? There's Larry Starr, the trainer.
I tell you, as many guys they got in that bullpen, Tony, that's got to be a factor. And this guy's a real battler anyhow.
Joe, I'll tell you, this guy does not want to come out of the game. In fact, last night when Sparky took him out, he went into the dugout, threw his glove up against the wall, and pretty much made it known that he was not happy at all with it.
Let's look again. If we can see where the ball hits Clay Carroll. A vicious line drive, looked like a sinker, and you can see what a pitcher has. Absolutely no chance at all. Where'd that hit him?
Hit him right in the La Panza, right in the boiler.
The hole.
Right in the boiler. That is chronic heartburn where he got hit.
Oh.
Watch the ball now. He sees the ball, and then at the last minute, it's like he's got handcuffs on. See the ball? Now watch it. He'll look up. See him look up?
He's protecting his face is all he's trying to do.
Yes, sir. Got him right in the boiler. But he's all right.
No, it wasn't the boiler. What was it?
La Panza. He got it. The Hawk is ready. All the folks down in Alabama, where he's from, happy. The Hawk is okay. This is Burleson. Look at those statistics. 7 for 13. Time is called something, I think, of somebody threw something on the field, Frisbee or something. You know, I said this last night about Burleson, Tony. He's one of those guys that just doesn't take that big bite. He keeps nicking you. They want Foster to throw it, and he hands it to the ball boy. Burleson just keeps coming at you, coming at you. He did it all year. One ball, one strike.
Burleson reminds me a little bit, as we look at Evans, of a guy who was always one of my favorites, played with the White Sox, was an MVP one year. They always said of Nellie Fox, didn't have much ability. Couldn't run, couldn't throw. All he did was hit 320, 30.
All he could do was beat you.
He knew how to play the game.
That's right.
It's very important in this game. It's something, I'll call it instinct, what you want, but sometimes you can't teach it. Fox went on with that ability to win an MVP one year. 59.
Zimmer at third base pretty much the same way. 1-1 pitch. Concepcion's going to have to hustle and makes his play at second base, and they get Evans. He could not have gotten Burleson. So we'll go to the bottom of the fifth, 5-4, Red Sox over Cincinnati. A 5-4 ball game, and these Boston Red Sox can put it on the scoreboard. And now to give you the play-by-play the rest of the way, voice of the Cincinnati Reds, Marty Brennaman.
Thank you, Joe, and hello again, everybody. Well, we've got a pretty much of a carbon copy of what we have witnessed the last two games in the 75 World Series. One-run games. Saturday at Fenway Park, 3-2 Cincinnati. Last night, the Reds pulling it out by a run, and 5-4 Boston as the Cincinnati Reds come to bat in the bottom of the fifth inning. Louis Tiant will be working to the top of the Reds' batting order as we take a look at this massive crowd at Riverfront Stadium tonight. Rose has had a hit. He scored a run, has hit the ball hard 2 times. Tiant starts him off with an off-speed pitch that misses the strike zone. Reds got 2 off of Tiant in the first inning. Then he went to work, retired 10 batters in a row before the Reds were able to come up with an infield 2-out single by Foster in the last inning that started it off. Ball 2 to Rose. On deck for the Cincinnati Reds is right fielder Ken Griffey. Pitch is foul back. Rose now 4 for 13 or 4 for 14 in the games played so far. Louis Tiant has allowed the Cincinnati Reds 6 hits, while Boston, who has continually out-hit the Reds, has had 10 hits. Cincinnati trying to battle back from behind after at one point leading 2-0 before that 5-run fourth inning. And Tiant a pitch away from walking Pete Rose. Rose checking out third base coach Alex Grammas. Rose opens the fifth inning with a base on balls, and that's the first walk that Tiant has allowed tonight. Naked walk number 2, Joe Morgan getting a walk in the first inning. Carlton Fisk now going out to the mound to talk with Tiant as once again manager Darrell Johnson is going to get some activity going in his bullpen.
Marty, when this game started, remember you said immediately that we look at the bullpen. We got Poole and Burton. Burton's a left-hander. You said if Rose got on, there was something was going to happen. He did break on the very first pitch. Let's see if it happens now.
I'd be surprised if it happened again, Joe. I know Sparky made the comment that they did not even expect Rose to go at all in this series. But we'll see. He's on with a leadoff walk, and now Griffey, who has doubled a run across and bounced to the mound in 2 tries. Ball 1.
Rose at first base doesn't have much of a lead at all. You can always measure it here in this ballpark by does he get a foot on the artificial surface? Rose does not.
Yeah, as Reedy gets off that bag to protect that hole when the pitch is on the way. You got to be careful with Tiant. He gets kind of tricky to first. He can surprise a first baseman.
Here's a fly ball hit back into deep right field. Looking up is a right fielder, Evans, but now will make the catch. Trying to decoy Pete Rose, it looked like, as he took a glance up as if to try and make Rose believe the ball was going to be out of here, and then made the catch.
He sure did. Pretty shrewd play, which didn't work. He's trying to make it look, as you said, Marty, like the ball's going out of the park.
The thing I like about that, too, Tony, is after he decoyed, he still got himself in position to make that good throw. He's thinking all the time.
Here's Joe Morgan with Rose at first, 1 out now. The Reds trailing the Red Sox 5-4 as Cincinnati bats in the bottom of the fifth inning. Tiant, perpetual motion out there. Breaking ball is high to Morgan. Rick Burleson, the shortstop for the Red Sox, shading Morgan towards second base. Get a look at the Boston infield defensively. Reds trying to get something going in the fifth inning. Throws a walk, a fly ball deep right by Griffey. And here's a man in Morgan you got to pitch to. Tiant right around the plate with that pitch, but Joe not having any of it. It's ball 2.
Yastrzemski, with men on first base, had some signals with his pitchers whether or not they're going to throw over. At one time, he used to flap his glove if he wanted to throw, if he thought a man might be going.
Again, the short lead by Pete Rose. Tiant needs a strike, and he now goes 3 balls and no strike.
Louis throwing a lot of pitches in this ball game.
Stan Williams, the Boston pitching coach, is on his way to the mound to talk with Tiant, who has already given up a walk to Pete Rose and is 3-0 on Morgan.
Marty, earlier in the year, as middle of the season on, Tiant had back problems, everybody knows. He also had a mechanical difficulty that Stan Williams, the pitching coach out there now, spotted on their video corner, their instant replay. He wasn't turning his back quite enough, wasn't getting the velocity, losing his control, so maybe he's picked something up.
He's upset. Tiant is upset, and they're staying there with him. They're trying to settle him down. You saw Carlton Fisk kind of pat him. What you try to do in a thing like that is change the mood, whatever it takes to change the mood, because the pitcher remains the same, but if the mood changes, you got the man that you want out there. Pitcher's upset with himself. He's not worth very much.
Tiant taking a little bit extra time as Stan Williams has gone back to the Boston dugout. The left-hander Burton, the right-hander Pohl continue throwing as Tiant needing a strike. Offers up the 3-0 pitch. Morgan got the green light, and that's something that you will see Sparky Anderson give him at times, but not nearly so much as Darrell Johnson.
Dick Pohl, the right-hander, Jim Burton, the left-hander, throwing for the Red Sox.
Darrell Johnson talking with his pitching coach, Stan Williams. Boston trying to protect the 1-run lead. That'll be out of here. So 3-2 on Joe Morgan.
I wonder if he's not relaying the message back to Johnson, the words he got from Tiant as to what might have been the matter, if anything. Used to call Williams the big hurt. He is so strong, he would come up behind you and grab you by the neck. You might be out for 3 days.
Shake hands with you. Dislocate 2-3 fingers.
So Louis Tiant getting ready to throw a big pitch here. 3-2 the count. Rose breaking, and it's ball 4 high. Uncharacteristic of Louis Tiant, he's given up 2 walks to the Reds in the 5th inning. Now you head to the power part of the Cincinnati Reds batting order.
Darrell Johnson with a decision. Do I stay with my best, the man who's done it for me in clutch situations? Do I go to a bullpen that is young out there right now, Pohl and Burton? He's going with experience.
Well, here's a guy who's not had a hit in the series. The only regular for either club, Tony Perez, 0 for 11. Has bounced to short, has struck out swinging. Perez 0 for 12 in the series with 2 men on and 1 man out. Tiant strikes him off with a fastball, and he missed with it.
Interesting battle going down at first base between Morgan and Yastrzemski. Morgan keeps shuffling his feet, trying to get in the way of the view of Yastrzemski. As Yaz moves one way, Morgan looks back, gets in front of him. I think he isn't thinking all the time.
Oh.
Here's a 1-0 to Perez. Swung on and fouled off to the right. That'll be out of play, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
You can see Morgan back up, as you said, Tony. But the interesting thing about it is, it would be if Perez were left-handed. And there's Mrs. Perez watching the game with her. She usually brings her 2 little boys with her.
I'll tell you, that lovely lady always has a smile on her face. The Reds with 2 runs in the 4th inning to make it a 1-run affair, and they're trying to really crank it up here against Tiant and the Red Sox. 1-1 pitch. Bouncing ball hit by the mound. That could be trouble. Play to first base, and they get the out at first. But Rose advances to third base.
Tiant with that follow-through, falling off towards first, has a little dribbler go right by him, and a pretty good play by second baseman Denny Doyle. No chance to get Morgan, as you see. Look where he is, on the third base side of second. Fortunately, at Perez, who does not run well.
So Tony Perez's ground ball, and he's out 4-3. Doyle to Yastrzemski, moves Rose to third base, and Joe Morgan on to second. Here's Johnny Bench.
I got to believe I'd put him on.
I got to believe I got a better chance of hitting than he has.
See what happens. First base open, second and third, 2 outs.
Bench doubled a run across with a long blast into deep right center in the first inning that hit a fly ball to left in the fourth. So he's had one of the 6
Going to
Cincinnati
pitch
hits.
to him. Going to pitch to him.
That
Carefully.
they are. 2 in scoring position, 2 down, and strike 1 is called.
He's going to make 3 pitches on that low outside corner, and if he comes inside, it's got to be to keep him honest. There's no way that he's going to give him a good ball ahead. It's going to be the worst mistake in the world, and he just doesn't make those kind of mistakes.
Well, he missed high and away with that pitch. Bench with 3 RBIs in the series. Had a home run here last night to get the Reds off and winging. 1-1 delivery, high and inside. Joe Tian unusually wild here in the 5th inning. Petrocelli at third had come in a couple of steps to shout something over to Luis Tian. Now backing up to his deep position at third base for Johnny Bench. 2-1 delivery. Swing and a miss, and he simply challenged him with a high fastball.
Looked like it was out of the strike zone, and Bench with base runners in scoring position is widening his strike zone to try to drive in some runs.
I think that's not a slugger's grip. Look at the little finger on his left hand, over the knob.
If he gets any lower, he'll just be having a handful of hands.
Bench with a chance to drive in some runs for Cincinnati. He hits a fly ball. Benitez toward the line. And the red thread dies in the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, a couple of men left on, and after 5 full innings of play, it's the Red Sox 5, the Reds 4. Clay Carroll against Luis Tian, Boston 6th inning, and Tian quickly behind 2 strikes to Carroll. Backs him out of there with a breaking ball up and in. Tian has been on 4 times in the 2 games in which he's pitched. Tonight he has had a walk. He's also singled and scored a run. Strike 3 is called, and plate umpire Dick Stello had to think about that pitch for a moment. That's the 2nd time that he's done that tonight.
Louis doesn't like it. It's a curveball that didn't back him out too much. He's on his heels.
The speech that he makes here is the speech that all pitchers make as we watch it once again.
Yeah,
we almost, they say, when I'm hitting, you call it a strike. When I'm pitching, you call it a ball. You've heard it, Tony.
Here's a ground ball to third. Rose stumbles, rights himself, and very quickly 2 down for the Red Sox.
Here's Pete playing way up in front of the bag in case Benitez had attempted to bunt. Pepper Martin. In the chest, off the shoulder.
I kind of believe he might want to get away from those seams, too, Tony. It could be a bad hop. Dennis Menke had one of those around the cutout part, the sliding pit.
Now Denny Doyle with 2 out. He's hitless tonight and 3 times up, and the first pitch is a ball inside to him. Carroll working his 2nd inning in relief, and he's a 3rd Cincinnati pitcher. Norman Bourbon and now Clay Carroll. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fouled off to the left. That's out of play. Red Sox scored all 5 of their runs in the 4th inning. Reds with 2 in the 1st and 2 in the 4th. Carroll trying to retire Boston in order. 2 down, nobody on. Breaking ball hit up the middle, and that's a base hit. Hit number 11 for the Red Sox as Doyle punches one up the middle with 2 down to extend the inning for first baseman Carl Yastrzemski.
Carroll does you a favor when he throws that thing. That was just like a high hanging off speed pitch. Didn't get in a very good spot.
Doesn't throw it too often, and I don't know if I'd have thrown it. Of course, it's second guessing with Yastrzemski coming up next.
No, I think
throw my best stuff to the guy up there.
That's right. I want to keep those bases clear for this fella.
Yes, 4 for 14 in the series. He's had 2 hits, both singles, a run batted in tonight. Strike call. Reds infield putting somewhat of an overshift on Yastrzemski. Joe Morgan playing deep behind the back white line at second base. Concepcion pulled toward the second base bag and rose well off the line at third.
Tony, we talked about Yastrzemski's sock on his left leg having a hole in it. He shifted. It's now on his right leg, and it's on the inside. He's going to snap that slump is what he's going to do, that losing streak. See it? There it is.
Pulls it foul down the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I guess
How ball players get like that, huh?
I was going to ask. I guess everybody's got a superstition when they play. Did you have one?
No, I really didn't.
I didn't either. I know Marty does when he broadcasts. Don't you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Hank Greenberg had a good one. He liked to touch all the bases when he hit a home run. That's what he said.
Diaz tried to go the other way with a pitch and slaps it foul to left field.
Didn't Rizzuto put gum on his cap?
I guess on the little button on the top.
Yeah.
I think he did. I guess the most superstitious of all is Mike Cuellar.
Oh.
He's got him.
Carroll working. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Talked about the Reds infield defensively. In the outfield, they are giving Yastrzemski a lot of real estate in left center. Geronimo pulled well into the gap in right center field and playing him very deeply. Well, Carroll getting 2 quick outs, but now has run into 2-out difficulty. After giving up the base hit to Doyle, he will be throwing 3 and 2 to Carl Yastrzemski.
They look like they're trying to force Carl to pull the ball, but that high and inside pitch is a ball that Carl can power to left center field. He did so well some of his league-leading years.
Slowly hit ground ball. Perez, he'll shove a line to Carroll, who gets there before Yaz does, and that's all for the Red Sox. 6th inning, no runs, a hit. They leave 1 man on, and after 5 1/2, it's Boston 5 and Cincinnati 4. Defensive change for the Boston Red Sox. Rick Miller has gone into play left field, a left-hander replacing Juan Benitez. But Darrell Johnson going to his bench in hopes of getting a little bit better defensive work out of that left field spot as Miller replaces Benitez, and George Foster will open up the 6th inning for Cincinnati. 5-4 score, Boston leading as the Red Sox bid to draw even in the 1975 World Series. Foster 1 for 2, had an infield hit that got the Reds rolling in the 4th inning. Scored 2 times off Tiant in that inning. And Louis all set to go to work here. Pitch is missing outside and high.
Joe, this is the time of the ball game where you've got to wonder with all the pitches Tiant has thrown, running the bases, the pressures he's had in clutch situations, if he's going to tire. We'll watch him closely.
Rick, fly ball to left center field. There's Freddie Lynn under and makes the catch. And as Foster leads off the 6th with a fly ball, the Reds get further activity underway in their bullpen. Young man who has won the 2 games that Cincinnati has chalked up in this series, Raleigh Eastwick.
You know, Tony, watching Tiant work, and just to what you were mentioning before as Eastwick continues to throw about is he tiring, the one thing you can't measure is the man's heart. You just don't know what competitive fires are in there. You go by past reputation. And, brother, you know this guy has got some kind of credentials.
1 down, 6th inning for Cincinnati. Davey Concepcion, the hitter, he had a bloop double into shallow left center field, hit off the end of the bat in the 4th inning. Drove in a run, shortens up on the bat, and takes a breaking pitch.
Marty Allen Roth charts every pitch. He tells us that Louis Tiant threw 100 pitches in the first 5 innings. That's a lot.
Louis getting a new baseball from plate umpire Dick Stello.
I thought Concepcion was going to hit it for a minute. It was hard to tell. He was asking for a baseball or come up with a new pitch.
Check swing foul, a pitch up and in. He was bailing out on it.
It's difficult for a pitcher to be considered a team leader, but Tiant is by many of his teammates. Even though he's a pitcher, sees only 4 days of action. Way inside as the ball really rides in on Concepcion.
Two balls and 1 strike.
wonder if that's what Tiant was mad about before. He thought some pitches were being missed.
Well, he's shaking his head right there. Fisk is asking about it. He turned around and said, you call it on Tiant when he was hitting, call it when he's pitching. That's another old catcher speech.
Concepcion ahead on the count, 2-1, and he pops it up. Second baseman Doyle going out, but Evans calling for it, 2 down. Tony, question, is there a difference in the strike zone, American League versus National League?
Talked to a lot of players who've gone to both, and they all say that National Leaguers give them the low strikes, give them a little bit more of the outside corner. The American Leaguers give them the high strike. Bobby Mercer told me something interesting this year. He said, I was surprised hearing what I heard, that they call more inside and high pitches strike zone. So depends upon the hitter, the player, I guess.
And the Uris
depends upon the umpire. Yeah, the Uris have it. Every umpire's a little different.
Louis Tiant showing signs of getting it together again. He'll be working to Geronimo with 2 out. Fastball is high and away. Geronimo went the other way and tripled by Beniquez. Back in the 4th inning to drive a run in. Last couple of innings, Tiant has been awfully tough with men on, especially in scoring position. Breaking ball will be out of play off to the left.
Well, we got a chance here. You know, we see many celebrities. John Gary sang the national anthem. Paul Simon threw out the first ball at Yankee Stadium, and Simon and Garfunkel are being reunited this Saturday night on NBC's Saturday Night at 11:30 Eastern Time. I don't know how you feel, Tony, but Simon and Garfunkel, I mean, that's Ruth and Gary.
Where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? San Francisco, I think, at Fisherman's Wharf.
That's great that they're coming back. You know, the Beatles got back together, and now Simon and Garfunkel will get to see him Saturday night.
Tiant a strike away from ending the inning. He's 1-2 on Geronimo. The pitcher, Clay Carroll, is on deck, but we mentioned Eastwick throwing. Trying to go the other way again, as he did his last time up, and fouls it off to the left. There's Clay Carroll. If Geronimo get on, you can bet that Sparky Anderson will once again go to his bench. Eastwick continuing to throw in the Cincinnati bullpen. Jammed him with a pitch and another foul ball, so Tiant continues to throw strikes here. Geronimo wasting him with foul balls.
He's throwing him all kinds of strikes, too, Marty. Inside, outside, changing speeds. He's working on him.
Okay, the 1-2 pitch again. Swung on, a looper that'll be in for a base hit.
That was a high limb. It was that American Legion high roundhouse curve, and he just couldn't let it get by.
There's a little bit of the hesitation pitch as Tiant stopped with that front foot. A little bit up, and that's what hurt him. He didn't hit it hard. Had it been down, it had been a ground ball.
I don't think you could hear that ball hit the bat. He kind of slung it out there like he hit it off his elbow.
Over the banana stalk.
Sparky Anderson once again going to his bench. There's Darrell Cheney swinging a bat. He's a left-handed hitter, and interesting because Sparky has Danny Dreesen, a most potent hitter on the bench, and a left-handed swinger himself, who obviously is saving for possibly a later time in this game.
Probably saving for a man in scoring position.
The 2 outs a factor as Stan Williams comes out to, I guess, go over strategy. Cheney, not known as a power hitter, had a big day in Chicago with a big home run, but he's a spray-type hitter.
Very quick meeting, Stan Williams with Louis Tiant. Cheney hit .219 during the season, a couple of home runs, and had his best RBI year in the big leagues. All with Cincinnati knocking in 26. First appearance for Cheney in this 1975 World Series, and Tiant falls behind to him.
Geronimo had 13 stolen bases during the year, caught 5 times.
Cheney with a foul back. It's a ball and 1 strike.
Yaz has gone now, the last pitch anyway, into that fluttering of the glove routine. He has a sign. He doesn't want to break off towards second base to protect that hole and have Tiant throw over. Embarrassing.
He's getting a pretty good lead, Tony. He's able to get to the artificial surface, but you doubt that he'd be running, although you can't take it for granted. That's a pretty good lead. Watch Yastrzemski.
1 ball, 1 strike. A 2 out and a runner at first base. 2 balls and 1 strike to Darrell Cheney.
Joe, I wonder if the number of times he flaps those gloves might have something to do whether he wants it to throw over or not. There's Darrell Johnson.
I would hardly think so, because you couldn't ask a pitcher to concentrate so much to count the number of flaps when he's got to get the hitter, Tony.
Cheney has been in 2 other World Series for Cincinnati, 70 and 72, looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 8. Tiant draws even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Louis with a lot of different kinds of fastballs. That one he looked like he sunk on him. Came a little bit 3/4. You come over the top. It's a riding fastball. You just don't pick up the ball, as you mentioned earlier, Joe. Seems to be on you quickly.
He hides it so well. He just gives you everything. Elbows, kneecaps, fingernails. He's just a tough pitcher.
Well, he goes over to first base for the first time with Geronimo over there. Yastrzemski having to reach back across the runner coming in to take the throw.
And that head fake is what made that play. He went up with his head and then quickly wheeled and turned, and Geronimo had to really scamper to get back.
Darrell Cheney, pinch hitting here in the 6th inning for pitcher Clay Carroll following Geronimo's 2-out single. And he struck him out, and that's all for Cincinnati.
Right on the target.
No runs, 1 hit in the inning. No errors with a man left on, and after 6 falls, the Red Sox 5 and the Reds 4.
Here's that last strike. Look at Fisk giving the target. Now watch that ball, how close it gets to that target. Boy, he's got great control. That is a tough pitch to handle, low outside. Fisk gives it to him right there, and he hits it.
New Cincinnati pitcher is right-hander Raleigh Eastwick, and this is a young man that Sparky Anderson went to many times during the season, and he has carried over that pattern here in the World Series. Right-hander from Haddonfield, New Jersey. Eastwick 5 and 3 during the season with a .260 earned run average, and as we mentioned earlier, he has already chalked up 2 victories in the series for the Reds and has a chance to become the first relief pitcher ever to win 3 games in one World Series. He's tied 3 relief pitchers by winning 2. The other is Jesse Barnes of the Giants in 1921, Hugh Casey of the Dodgers in 1947, and most recently Larry Sherry of the Los Angeles Dodgers in 1959. Carlton Fisk leading off the 7th for Boston, who leads in this game 5-4. Fisk has had a single, a run scored, and 3 times up. Eastwick giving up the game-tying homer to Evans in the 9th inning last night, and then the Reds coming back to win the game. Here's a pop. Tony Perez waiting.
Commissioner Bowie Kuhn. Joe Cronin up behind him. Mrs. Cronin, who is an avid baseball fan, obviously, and she keeps the most complicated scorecard I have ever seen. She records everything. Probably that question that gentleman just asked.
She's getting corrected.
Freddie Lynn, first pitch hitting, a ground ball to Joe Morgan. 2 down, 7th inning for Boston. In the 2 appearances for Eastwick, he's worked 3 2/3 innings, has allowed a run on 4 hits. Had 22 saves in 1975 to tie Cardinal relief ace Al Raboski for the National League lead in that department. Petrocelli the batter, and it's strike 1. Red Sox have out-hit the Reds 11-7. Each club has committed an error. Boston leading 5-4. They came with that good fastball, and I'll tell you, he's got a dandy.
He really threw that one hard. He is just firing good old country fastballs.
Grounded by the mound, but a routine inning for Raleigh Eastwick. He sets down Fisk, Lynn, and Petrocelli in order. First 1-2-3 inning of the game. Reds pitching against Boston. In the middle of the seventh, 5-4 Red Sox.
NBC Sports in the baseball world, that starts it off. We begin coverage of Game 7 if we have it at 12:30. And that's where it begins as far as Game 7 with the baseball world. If the World Series is completed, then we've got a big doubleheader football game. 1 o'clock, Baltimore, New England, but Miami and the Jets, Greasy against Namath. 4 o'clock, Oakland plays Cincinnati, and of course, Grandstand will be before and wrapping around all the NFL action. That's next Sunday. If there's a 7th game, we begin at 12:30 with the baseball world. Otherwise, 1 o'clock football, but 12:30 Grandstand.
Louis Tiant will work to the top half of the Reds' batting order here in the 7th inning, and Pete Rose with a foul strike on Tiant's first pitch. Rose is single. He's lined to center. He's also had a walk. Darrell Johnson, who has kept the fires burning in his bullpen here in the last few innings, is going with right-hander Dick Drago. One ball and 1 strike. Rose started to go after the pitch. There's Darrell Johnson. Don Zimmer seated off to his left. Johnny Pesky, his first base coach, to the right.
That's Popeye and Needle Nose.
It's like a Disney movie, Popeye and Needle Nose.
5-4 the Red Sox. Tiant has been at odds with a plate umpire tonight, Dick Stello, and again it appeared that he was not too pleased with the call on that pitch.
And he's getting support from Carlton Fisk. Fisk has been jabbering back there, not turning around, but he's getting his 2 cents worth in. And I tell you, Tiant's been around that plate all night. Can't blame him.
Rose trying to get on with what would be the tie and run. He hits a shot, but Denny Doyle right in his tracks, and there's one away.
Gritty, that's the word for that guy. Here's Rose. Look how close in Fisk is to him, Joe. He's way up underneath him almost.
Really is.
Hard.
You know, we talk about not being in agreement and all that, but these umpires, you got to tip your hat. All first time in a World Series, and they umpire that ball under tremendous amount of pressure.
Kenny Griffey, the batter. 1 out in the 7th inning for Cincinnati, and there's Doyle again getting in on the act. 2 away.
Joe, Dick Stello, the man behind home plate, is actually an instructor at an umpire school. He teaches umpires.
Joe Morgan has been on twice. He's both times reached with walks. In the 1st inning, also in the 5th. Fly to left field, his only official at-bat.
Tony, here's your pet play where Petrocelli guards the line to third, and a lot of room between him and Burleson, and I don't believe that Morgan could hit a ball between him and third.
Marty, I'll bet you haven't seen Joe Morgan hit a ball right down the third base line all year long, have you?
I can't remember him ever doing it this season, Tony.
Now look at the room he's got. If he dribbles one between short and third.
He's giving him the left side of the infield. 2 balls and no strikes.
That makes it awfully tough on a shortstop because if there is a ball with Morgan's speed hit to his right, he's getting no help from the third baseman.
He's not going to get him. There's no way he can get him. And I can't picture a third baseman having to guard the line if you got your shortstop way over.
Well, Morgan content to wait him out. Joe, as you said, Tiant continually right around that plate. He's not missing by much.
He's shaking his head. He thought that was a strike.
Tiant has walked 3. He has struck out 3. Morgan getting a green light on the 3-0 pitch this time, exactly as he did earlier in the game.
Joe very proud of the fact that he can pull any pitcher alive. He even talked the other day about pulling Sandy Koufax. He said, I can get out in front on anybody.
Tiant has come back to get the count full to him. Talk about Koufax. He was telling a story earlier this season. Somebody brought Koufax's name up under just what you're talking about now, Tony, that he claims he can pull any left-hander, and he said he had a home run off Koufax in the Astrodome to right field. Three-two pitch. He hits one and hit it a time. But Freddie Lynn will be there, and that's all for the Reds as they are retired in order in the 7th inning. 3 up, 3 down. Freddie Lynn making a play on the hard hit ball to deep right center field by Joe Morgan. Took a step in, then broke quickly back on the ball, and when all was said and done, made it a fairly routine play. So it's 3 up and 3 down for the Reds, and through 7, it's Boston 5 and Cincinnati 4. 8th inning for the Boston Red Sox, who are trying to hang on and claim a 1-run victory over the Cincinnati Reds, and this is the 4th game of the World Series. Dwight Evans, Rick Burleson, and Louis Tiant scheduled batters in the inning. Evans has been a very, very important man to this Red Sox club during the season, and very much so in this World Series. He tonight has knocked in 2 runs with a big triple in that 5-run 4th inning. And an infield hit in the 5th. Eastwick with a 1-0 pitch. Got him going after a pitch down and away.
Eastwick doesn't get too fancy when he's got that ball behind him, Tony. He kind of goes in with a pretty much a conventional direct route into the grip as far as getting that ball into the glove.
Shows you a lot of it. Yeah, I've never seen him throw an off-speed pitch. He seems to be power all the way.
Fastball up.
That's some of the men from the bullpen. The redhead is Dick Pohl. He warmed up earlier. Diego Segui to his left. Man with a mustache to the left side of your screen is Dick Drago. We might see him tonight if Tiant falters. And there's Louis. I don't know what he's drinking there, Gatorade or something with quick energy in it.
Fountain of youth.
1-2 the count on Evans as he hits one into deep left center field. Geronimo there, 1 down. Here's a shortstop, Rick Burleson. He also had a run-scoring base hit in the 4th inning, a double to left center field, his only hit tonight. Quite an impressive figure there. 78 times he has struck out in 2 seasons with this Boston team. 4-1.
Burleson uses that little rubber donut-type device in his bat. Some of the players use it who choke up on the bat as he did to give it better grip. Closed his eyes. Well, he thought he was going to get hit by that ball.
He thought he was going to get that.
Sure did.
Whoop. Don Zimmer leaving the artificial turf on that shot to third. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Popeye.
Cincinnati native.
There's a fellow knows what it is to get hit.
Oof.
Two balls and 1 strike. Eastwick trying to do his job, keep the Red Sox with only 5 runs on the board, and hope that the Reds can come back in their last 2 at-bats. Throws glove side. 2 down. Here's Louis Tiant. I'll tell you, they have to respect this guy here at Riverfront Stadium. He put on quite a show at Fenway Park at home Saturday, and, well, he's pitched a battling type of game. There's a Boston Red Sox contingent led by Louis' wife.
She still had that horn or whatever's going.
Talked to a fan that sat near that section, Joe, last night, and they said she was going with it full tilt from beginning until end. Grounded by the mound as Eastwick tried to come up with it with his bare hand. Concepcion makes the play. So the Red Sox are up and down in order for the 2nd consecutive inning against right-hander Raleigh Eastwick. And after 7 1/2, it remains the Red Sox 5, the Reds 4.
Well, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, World Series game number 5. And the baseball world will have Max Patkin. Now, I guess you could... Certainly he's inherited from Al Schacht, the clown prince of baseball. We'll have Max Patkin on tomorrow night, Baseball World in Game 5. And then Saturday, should this game, 12:30 is the starting time. I think the best thing to do is at 12:30, flip your dial to NBC on the weekends, and you're going to have yourself a big sports afternoon. If Game 7 is around, you're going to have the World Series in football. And if the World Series is over, you're going to have a doubleheader football schedule. And check your local listings. Got some great games up. Greasy against Namath is one of them. And Oakland, what happened to them? Against Cincinnati. So Flip it to NBC, and you'll be right there.
Well, there's a bit of encouragement for Louis Tiant, a sign hanging off the facing of the second deck in left center. Time running out for the Cincinnati Reds in this game. Tony Perez opening up the 8th inning, still looking for his first hit. Strike one call. He's 0 for 13. Perez hoping that 13 number proves to be good luck right now.
Look out.
Coming straight back and just off to our left.
Joe didn't have time that time to use his formula, which you have not yet heard, but you're going to right now. Catching pop fouls.
No, he's not ready for it. He's not ready for it. He's got to get some time in the league.
0-2 the count.
Oh, did you see Louis that time?
Well, we got some further business underway in the Cincinnati bullpen. Tiant prepares to throw the 1-2 to Tony Perez. Here's a fly ball hit back into left center field as Miller is there, and there's one down.
He dipped on this one. Just watch his head. Now, if you're concentrating on the man's eyes, watch what happens. He's looking at you. Down he goes. Around he goes into left center field, and here he comes. He's amazing, amazing.
Johnny Bench with one out. Doubled and 3 times up, has hit fly balls twice to left field. Pretty good pitch right there.
And a pretty good cut as we take a look at Will McEnany.
Sparky Anderson has used one of his young lions, Raleigh Eastwick, tonight. Still the Cincinnati pitcher, and McEnany working. Pops him foul, but out of play. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. Tiant has given the Reds only one hit over the last 3 1/3 innings at the single by Geronimo in the 6th inning. Throwing nothing but strikes over the last couple of innings, and he has struck out Johnny Bench.
He still had a pretty good fastball left in the arm over the top of the bench. That was a good fastball, Joe.
Yes, it was, and the one he threw before him, he even just matched strength against strength. Bench had a good cut, didn't connect, and he came right back, came from over the top and challenged him. I go back to what I said earlier, Tony. I tell you, when you look, if you could look inside a man, you would have a pretty good yardstick. But the credentials this fella has, you know he's got heart. His arm may be tiring, but he's still coming at you.
Foster with 2 down as you take a look at Louis Tiant. He's had one infield hit. And as per habit, Foster taking a lot of time getting into the batter's box. He's ready, so too is Tiant.
There's one single man, I think, fellas, who kept Boston ahead of Baltimore down through the pressure-packed situation. It's the guy on the mound right there. He gave them some super ball games, and the first game of this series also a shutout.
Strike is called. I'll tell you, the way he's pitched against Cincinnati, I think Darrell Johnson would probably like to be able to throw him out there every day.
If it goes 7, you know who's going to be on the mound for the Red Sox. You're looking at him.
Tiant taking his time does not appear to be perturbed by Foster's stalling tactics at the plate, unlike a number of pitchers around the National League. 2-1. Now it'll be Don Gullett going for the Reds tomorrow night in game number 5. He and Tiant matched up in the opening game at Fenway on Saturday, with Tiant pitching the shutout. Well, he gave Sparky Anderson the advantage of giving Gullett that one more day extra rest as Tiant pitches on 3 days rest tonight. Ground ball, base hit to center field. Freddie Lynn up with the ball, quickly back to the infield.
As far as we know now, the scheduled pitcher for Darrell Johnson's Red Sox is going to be Bill Lee.
Tell you, Tony, a lot of the Reds players felt like Lee pitched a better game against them Sunday than Tiant did in pitching the shutout Saturday.
He had excellent control, had his breaking stuff going. He held the runners close.
Well, the crowd getting caught up here on the base hit to center by Foster. Here's Concepcion. Davey 1 for 3, a double, a knock, and a run. Standing room only at Riverfront Stadium for the second consecutive night. Reds now with 8 hits. Boston has had 11. Nobody has scored since the Reds struck for a pair in the 4th inning. Dion works. 4-1. McEnany still loosening in the Cincinnati bullpen. Get down toward the bottom of the Reds' order. Geronimo, the 8th batter, will be up next. There's a fly ball. That's got a chance. Nope. The right fielder Evans quickly over to make the play, and Concepcion and the Reds are retired in inning number 8. No runs, a hit, 1 left. And as we go to the ninth, Boston 5, Cincinnati 4. The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball. We're in the 9th inning. Eastwick will be pitching to Rick Miller, who makes his first appearance at the plate in this World Series. Miller coming on in the bottom of the 6th inning as a defensive replacement for Juan Benitez in left. Boston 5, Cincinnati 4. Possibility looms of a third straight one-run game among the 4 that we've had so far. Miller, 194, a batting average during the year. No homers, 15 RBIs. He's a brother-in-law of Carlton Fisk. Call strike. Miller married to Fisk's sister, Janet.
Saying a lot, but some consider Miller the best outfielder on this club when you figure Lynn and Evans when Yastrzemski plays out there. Also, he might be the best base runner.
Raleigh Eastwick. Ball is fouled away. It's 2 strikes. 7 straight Boston batters have gone down. Eastwick has retired 6 in a row. Good look at, well, I guess you could call him a baby-faced Raleigh Eastwick. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So are you like me? Several times during these series games, I've wondered what the difference Jim Rice might have been in this series.
Oh, you have to think that. You have to think that. And you have to wonder what's running through his mind. What a disappointment, unfortunately.
Here's Morgan playing back behind second and got enough on the throw to get the speedy Rick Miller. 1 down. So Eastwick continues to roll along as he gets Miller on a bouncing ball to the Reds' Gold Glove second baseman Joe Morgan.
Marty, is Eastwick the youngster? I may have him mixed up. His quarter's saying he doesn't get nervous, but he's got a brother who does all the worrying.
He's the one, Joe. He's got a twin brother.
And he's the worrier, the
yes,
twin brother.
Not Raleigh. He said that ground ball to second said he has never, ever been worried in athletic competition. Ever. And he is most emphatic about it.
So when he wants to worry, he calls his brother.
Gets him on the telephone.
Designated worrier.
DW. The old DW.
The old basic DW.
Here's a veteran, Carl Yastrzemski, with 2 out, 4 for 15. 2 hits tonight, including a base hit that knocked in a run. Red Sox bunched them 5 runs, all of their runs, in 1 inning, and had 6 of their 11 hits in that 4th. Carlton Fisk is on deck.
When he wraps that bat, by that I mean he points that bat towards the pitcher, he gets that cut. Now watch that bat come forward and then around. Whoop. Boy, if nothing else, Tony, that'll get every bone in your body loose. The old days, you'd pop a button on your shirt.
1-1 the count. It's down low and inside. 2 balls and a strike.
You know, when guys swing like that behind the plate, you can feel your mask start to come off, the suction, just like that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You don't believe that. Ever tell you about Tian's father picked the guy off?
Well, Eastwick has been down and in on the last 2 pitches. He's 3-1 on Yastrzemski, who backs away from the plate.
Talk about concentration at the bat. one of the great assets any hitter can have. Watch Yastrzemski's concentration.
Bouncing ball foul back of the plate. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
He has had some different kinds of years. 40 home run years, league-leading years. This year he suffered from the All-Star game on, hit almost 200, but it was due to a bad shoulder. But when it counted, come September, he got some big hits, and we saw the great plays he made earlier in this series.
Stays alive with a foul back. We look ahead at the bottom of the 9th for Cincinnati. Geronimo to lead it off, then a pinch hitter for Eastwick, and back to the top for Pete Rose.
Talk about the All-Star game, Tony. How about that home run he hit in it?
I thought he's the MVP. He got the team back in. I'm glad he's Polish. You're probably...
No, I'm happy he is. I know he is.
He's on with a walk. $55,667 here tonight as we once again watch Mrs. Louis Tion lead the Boston cheering.
Louis doing some thinking on the bench right now. He knows who the hitters coming up are. The last of the 9th for the Reds.
Here's Tion. Here's Carlton Fisk at the plate with 2 away. Yastrzemski on at first, and strike 1 is called. The first base runner that the Red Sox have had off of Eastwood. Fisk is singled in 4 times. Towering fly ball. Concepcion calling for it. Foster behind. David has it, and that's the inning. No runs in the 9th for the Red Sox. No hits. No errors. A man left. 5-4 Boston after 8.5. Louis Tion 3 outs away from picking up his second World Series victory of 75 as Sparky Anderson goes to pacing in the Reds dugout.
Joe, you've caught last halves of inning in World Series competition. What's on your mind right now if you're catching Tion?
Well, pretty much what you said about who the batters are, what you're going to do, and make sure that you realize that he's still got that good stuff and you don't let your heart, your emotions take over for you. This is where the guts comes in, that if he starts to lose it, you're going to have to tell somebody.
Cesar Geronimo will start it off as Jim Burton and Dick Drago, a left-hander and a right-hander, start throwing. Geronimo has had a couple of hits. You can hear in the background, this crowd wants some action. Swung on, a shot hit down the right field line, but a foul ball.
The defense is an interesting one to me, Tony. Petrocelli at third base is actually guarding the line more. You'll see Petrocelli there than Yastrzemski at first base with Geronimo, a left-hand batter up there.
Geronimo bunt very much.
No, he doesn't, Tony. He's not a good bunter.
A lot of times the third baseman will guard the line so he has a better angle at a possible bunt. He is extremely overcharged at third base back.
Quickly, 2 strikes out in front.
There's Rico. Joe, you talked about a catcher's thoughts last half inning. I know that an infielder, Red Sox infield in this case, has a lot more pressure on them right now than if they were in their own home park. When you don't have your last bats, you're a little bit more intense.
On deck for Cincinnati, a pinch hitter to hit for Raleigh Eastwick. Young man who's involved in a very controversial play last night, Ed Armbruster. Geronimo, 1-2, trying to get on. The Reds trailing by a run in their 9th inning. Foul back. Mentioned the 2 pitchers throwing in the Boston bullpen, Burton and Drago. The Reds also have some business underway.
It looked almost like he was saying his lips are moving fastball.
Here's a pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You see that?
Yeah.
At close up, he looked like his lips said fastball. He had his thoughts go right to his mouth.
He doesn't want to go to 3-2, I'll tell you. He wants it to happen right here on 2-2.
Well, let's see what happens. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Line drive. Hit. Base hit to right field for Geronimo. Tony, it appears that Geronimo has been sitting on the off-speed pitches of T.I. tonight.
Yeah, right from the start of the game. He's got 3 or 4. He's hit the ball hard today.
So there's a tie and run. The Cincinnati Reds dugout. Here's a man who put down the bunt that created the controversy last night. Ed Armbrister, little used during the regular season by Sparky Anderson. He's a rookie. Fine runner. And a pretty good runner over at first base in Geronimo. Oh, it begins to get a bit loud at Riverfront Stadium. Here's a pitch, a ball bunted foul off the first base side.
I wonder what's on the home plate umpire Dick Stella's mind right now.
There's Dick Stello.
A young crew of umpires, all in their first World Series, and things are really magnified, whether you're playing or umpiring at this stage of the season.
Armbrister took a long look down to third base coach Alex Kramer. Petrocelli creeping in from third base. Geronimo at first. Bunt, and it's a dandy. Keon on to Doyle covering, and a fine bunt by Armbrister. He did his job. Geronimo on at second base in scoring position, and
there it is. Watch Carlton Fisk bolt out from behind the plate. He has been an excellent bunter all year long, bunting at the proper place as Yastrzemski had a hold the runner. Rico would have had a better shot, and Armbrister knew it bunted perfectly.
It'll bring up Pete Rose with a chance to drive in the tie and run. He's hit the ball 3 times hard tonight. Once for a base hit in the first inning.
Marty, you've got to think once again of the late inning comebacks that Cincinnati has had all year long.
Tiant taking a little bit extra time as he goes to rubbing up the baseball. Will give us a chance to send along our thanks to our statistician Alan Roth, our production stage manager Jim O'Gorman, and our field supervisor Huey McDermott. 1 man out. Runner at second base as Geronimo takes his lead. Tiant with a look. 4-1. Talk about your competitors, boy. You got 2 of them going head-to-head right here.
That you have, and you know that in that computer mind of Tiant's, he knows what Rose hit every time he's been up there.
Burleson playing games at second base with Geronimo, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Tiant, calm, cool, and collected. Stan Williams, the Boston pitching coach. 5-4 Red Sox, 9th inning. Rose looking for a pitch to hit at.
He changed speeds on Rose. This time, nothing but fastballs. Fastballs. Now, Rose is taking a good look at Graham as Morgan was turned loose. What do you do in this spot?
Would you turn him loose, Joe?
I think I would, yes. But I'd make sure he'd pick a pitch because he's got the tying run over there at second base. It depends on him if he doesn't get over anxious. You got to know your players.
Well, let's see what happens. That's a strike, and Rose taken all away.
He must be nearing the 200 mark in pitches thrown. He's got to be a tired man, but Joe, you said it so well earlier. What's inside that man? Now we've seen it. We all know what's inside him.
1 out, 1 on, 3-1 on Pete Rose. Geronimo out at second base. Burleson continuing to play games with him. And there's ball 4.
Gale goes with percentages. He's going with Burton, a youngster. But I'd hate to have... Well, I'd like to have the experience of Tiant out there. Talk about things pulling in different directions. Which way is Darrell going to go?
Well, Darrell is talking to him, and I'm sure the way he gives him the answers is going to decide if he's going to leave him in.
Going with his best, even though he might be tired. Burton and Drago. Drago the right-hander.
So the decision has been made by the man who makes them for the Boston Red Sox, Darrell Johnson. Tiant will remain in. And the hitter for Cincinnati will be Ken Griffey. Griffey strolls plate when he has had a hit, a double, in the first inning to knock home a run in 4 times. Geronimo began the inning with a base hit, Armbruster with a sacrifice, and Rose with a base on ball. Got him standing around this ballpark right now. Tiant, Ken Griffey. Tying run at second. Go ahead, run at first. Ball 1.
Speed at second, great speed at the plate, and at first baseman Pete Rose, a guy who can really bust you up if there's a double play attempt. He'll get a good break off the bag as Yastrzemski's not holding him on. We've been on first and second.
Reds threatening in inning number 9. Tiant's 1-0 pitch. That's a strike to him.
Tony, I know you mentioned that Bill Lee's a probable pitcher. He's down the bullpen protecting the fellows who are warming up, and he is really a cheerleader when he's down there. See Drago and Burton.
One ball, one strike. Ken Griffey. Louis Tiant. Up high, ball 2, 2-1.
Fisk, as you saw, motioning that he was letting that ball loose high, not following through, just little reminders to try to pull his veteran right-hander through. He is battling. He's got a battle on his hands.
A big chaw of tobacco in his right jaw. Nods in acknowledgement of the sign from Fisk. Most important pitch of this game about to be delivered. He loses Griffey. He'll have the bases loaded, the winning run in scoring position, and Morgan at the plate. Boston infield looking for the ground ball. Here comes a 3-1 pitch to Ken Griffey. He bounces first base side, and it's a foul ball. As Jazz steps across the line to scoop it up. So Geronimo will head on back to second base. Pete Rose takes a slow walk back to first.
This crowd really coming to life, and the noise just increasing with the closeness of the pitch. And yet the concentration, I'm sure, of all the ball players out on that field might as well be playing in the middle of a desert. Look at Sparky.
Griffey's going to make Tiant wait just a moment before moving back into the batter's box. Veteran right-hander has gone as far as he can with Ken Griffey. 3-2 the count. The payoff pitch. Fly ball hit well to center field. Lynn racing back. He will make the catch. What a catch by Freddie Lynn. Geronimo 3/4 of the way down to third. And Fred Lynn has just turned in the defensive play of the game.
This is one super play by Freddie Lynn under pressure as he just turns his back. He had a long run. He lopes after the ball with that great style that is already familiar, I'm sure, to all of our viewers.
He keeps it to the open side. Not once did he turn the wrong way, and makes a tremendous play under some kind of pressure. And Geronimo at second base, 3/4 of the way down, has to go back.
Well, Geronimo, thinking that ball was going to be in there, missed an opportunity to tag and move to third base as the second out is recorded.
That's the kind of play you want to tag up on, because if it does go over his head, you're going to get third and you're going to score off the wall.
His speed, he'll walk.
And if he's on third, you got some chances. With Morgan up, a wild pitch, a ball, a lot of things can happen if you're on third. It's just more pressure for the defense.
Here's a man who has not had a good World Series. Joe Morgan, 3 hits and 13 tries, and he's 0 for 2 tonight, although drove in the winning run last night. He is the last reigning hope for Cincinnati to try and keep the ninth inning going. Tiant delivers. 0-1. Geronimo at second base. Pete Rose at first. Single and a walk got him there. Freddie Lynn with some kind of play on Ken Griffey. There goes Geronimo. Pitch is popped up. And that should do it. Yastrzemski and Boston has taken the 4th game of this World Series. In the 9th inning, the Reds' threat goes by the boards as Louis Tiant is mobbed by his teammates. The win tonight ensures that it will go back to Fenway Park as they defeat the Reds 5-4, the 3rd consecutive one-run game.
Well, the grittiness of the Red Sox show today, hanging tough. Louis Tiant, a clutch hit, triple by Evans. A big inning when they scored 5 in the 4th. But the man again is in game number 1, Joe, El Tiante.
That's the big story. He'll get all the headlines, and deservedly so, because extra pressure once again. His ball club down by 1 game, and last night's ball game, controversial play. And Tiant comes on, and it looked like he was staggering. And yet when he needed it, he really had it. He needed one good play, Tony and Marty. I felt the play by Lynn on the ball hit by Griffey was the one big play that he needed, and he got it. And the Boston Red Sox make it 2 games apiece now, and he is really mobbed. There is Tony Conigliaro, now a sports broadcaster, talking to Luis Tiant.
Well, it's tied up at 2. We go to game number 5. Bill Lee, the left-hander, he pitched a good second ball game up in Fenway Park, and we'll see Don Gullett, 2 left-handers.